I want to preface this by saying, first of all, I don't have any interest in drama, especially over Instagram stories. I hate that I have to address this this way rather than how it should have been over a normal conversation. However, while I usually avoid these types of things, you know, there's not the first time I've had drama in my life, my private life. This was made public. I also feel the need to clear my name because what was said about me was very slanderous and wrong. And while I could probably ignore it, the truth be told, I just don't want to continually micro-address it with people on an individual level who are curious as to what the fuck is going on. First of all, a few of you might be curious as to why I didn't respond to such a malicious attack. Please don't take my silence on these things as any sort of admission of guilt at all. The reason I didn't respond straight away is very simply put, I have learned through experience, life experience, that reacting to very highly emotional things while your emotions are very heightened is always a terrible idea. It's never served me. It's caused lots of problems in my personal life, my relationships, etc. And of course, this has been a very highly emotional time for me. Someone who I once considered a brother, someone who I worked very closely alongside for 2 to 3 years, building an incredible worldwide movement. Someone who I held in a very high regard, denouncing me publicly to his audience of over 200,000 people, gave me a very mixed bag of emotions, to say the least, okay? I also had a very lovely girl with me who I had flown over to Bangkok to see me and spend 2 weeks with me. And I was very intent on not allowing this bullshit drama to affect my time with her. And also, the truth be told, the response from the public was actually very encouraging for me. I think most people who have half a brain saw the post that was made, which we'll talk about in a moment, and they thought, something doesn't feel right here. This is very fucking strange. So in case you missed it, on the 30th of September, Hamza posted this, or this, wherever I put it, onto his story. Before I address the post specifically, I'm going to provide you some necessary previous context so that you understand how absolutely retarded this is. 1 month prior to this happening, I was staying in Hamza's house in Bali with him and another friend for 2 weeks, and we had a totally normal time, some would say an awesome time. We recorded vlogs, we recorded podcasts, everything was totally normal. We were boys, we were having a sick time. 1 week prior to this happening, I'm back home now. I woke up to a text from Hamza which simply read, "I don't think I can be friends with you anymore," which, as you can imagine, was equally both very confusing and annoying for me. If there was something wrong, why not just send me a text saying, "Hey brother, need to talk to you about something. I'm sure it's nothing, but there's something that's bothering me and I just want to clear things up." Okay. You would think after 5 years of our friendship, I would be afforded a text message like that. Apparently not. I was very confused for many reasons, but I responded with, "Hey man, wanna hop in a call?" I got no response for 24 hours until the next day, where I randomly got a call on Discord. We chatted on the video call. Hamza seemed very upset, very cagey, and I started to dig deeper as to why he was feeling this way. And it turns out he was upset at me because of a video I made called "Self-Improvement Did Not Change My Life." He saw the messaging to be clashing with his, citing 1 or 2 specific parts of the video that he didn't like. Of course, while I was on the call, I couldn't review the video and give my opinion on what he was upset about because I made the video 3 months ago. I pushed back on one of the points he made because frankly it was just very, very petty. He made another point as well which I couldn't really respond to without refreshing myself on the video. But I remained confident that I didn't have any malicious intent towards Hamza with my video because I didn't. I create my videos to help people and help grow my business, which helps people. That's it. In hindsight, watching back the video now, right now, I unapologetically stand by absolutely everything I said in my video. I think it's absolutely spot on true. It's not that uncomfortable anymore. Going to the gym is not uncomfortable. You're not developing character by going to the gym. Doing a cold shower is not that uncomfortable. You're not developing character by doing a cold shower. You know what is uncomfortable? Developing a fucking skill set and obsessing over becoming top 1% in the world at that skill set. Learning all of the intricacies, the ins and outs, every single scenario, every single fucking little detail which makes you a top 1% at that skill. That is challenging. And that is a continual challenge as well. And it's that mastery which will change your self-identity. And once your self-identity changes, that's when your life changes. This video, once again, was 3 months old. And a month prior to this call happening, we were having a completely normal, awesome time in Bali, both giving each other really sick business, life advice. Nothing was changed. And all of my advice and all of the time I spent with him was grounded in reality that I want to see my friend Hamza win and grow. You can also see that I've consistently, very publicly supported my friend, even when he was under a lot of fire and I could have very easily turned my back. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I kissed Hamza on the forehead. I kissed him on the forehead. Proud is an understatement. I love that for Hamza. I love that so fucking much. The reason I made this video is to simply try to convince my self-improvement audience into trying video editing, which is the skill which truly moved the needle for me and transformed my life. The video is a bit heavier on marketing language because I just launched a new resource for my viewers to download for free in exchange for their email. One of these marketing terms I've used was "you've been sold a lie," which of course I wasn't talking about Hamza. My video was a commentary on the manosphere as a whole. And a lot of these self-improvement guys, they obsess over being more handsome. They're doing all of this mad autistic shit, fucking jelking, fucking smashing up their bones and shit. The "you've been sold a lie" line was added simply because it makes people way more likely to take action. That's it. Because there's a large subcategory of men who think that cold showering and having a 300-day jelking streak is enough to become Chad. They think it's enough to stop feeling invisible, as I used to. They think it will get them female attention. They think it will actually make them important and able to create positive impact en masse in the world. And it's not the case. Doing those habits alone isn't enough. And it's the people who believe that to be the case that I wanted to help. My video has 2 very simple messages. One, the manosphere has a massive overimportance of autistic, gimmicky habits. If you get to day 300 of nofap, you'll start to fucking levitate, bro. The girls are just gonna be fucking all over you, mate. If you just don't touch your cock for 300 days, then that's all you need, pal. If you jelk, and if you cold shower, then you'll be a Chad. That's it. That's all you have to do. The 5 habits to be a Chad. Number 1, jelk. Number 2, cold shower. The second point of my video is that meditating, for example, in a vacuum, on its own, won't change your life. Of course it won't. It may be foundational in terms of building your success, and it's still a good thing to do. Just to be clear, in my video, I did not say that self-improvement is a bad thing to do. It's good, don't get me wrong, guys. Like, self-improvement and the habits that fit under the self-improvement umbrella, they're foundational to your growth as a man, your pursuit towards masculine excellence, for sure. But to transform your life in a similar manner, which I've been able to do, it's not enough. Because the truth be told, I never did any of the self-improvement habits, the gimmicky ones and even the standard ones, outside of going to the gym, of course. And to be honest with you, most successful guys that I know, they don't do that shit either. That's not what changed my life. What you need is a self-identity update, a means to generate wealth, and also a means to create an impact. You don't do that by just obsessively going to the gym and reading books and jelking and bone smashing and all of this autistic shit, which is often painted as the solution to everyone's problems. Just do those things and you're A-okay. That's my point of the video. And you'll see this exact same messaging laced throughout all of my content. Master a skill, transform your life by being treated well because of the skill that you have and the value you provide. Get paid well and create a positive impact. That's my bread and butter messaging throughout all of my content on this channel over the last 2 years. My opinion has been the same and it's never changed. And also, before I address the story, just to be crystal clear, I don't believe self-improvement is useless. Of course I don't. I dedicated 2 to 3 years of my life helping Hamza build his YouTube channel, build his movement, make all of those videos. Every single day I was editing videos, jumping in calls, strategizing, talking about the business, talking about the movement. How do we help these guys? How do we help these young men? What do they need to hear? I don't believe self-improvement is useless, and I even said it in the video itself, which Hamza took a problem with. Self-improvement and the habits that fit under the self-improvement umbrella, they're foundational to your growth as a man, your pursuit towards masculine excellence, for sure. But the only thing is, I just don't attribute most of the success I've seen to self-improvement, okay, and the habits that come along with it. And just to be crystal clear, before I address the story, Hamza's public post denouncing me and my business was because of this video. Anyway, as far as the call went, Hamza by the end of it seemed to understand that I didn't have any malicious intent with my video. He seemed to understand that I wasn't doing anything nefarious. Not that I could properly really respond because I hadn't seen my video. And he kind of just ambushed me with a random fucking Discord call without actually organizing it or anything. We had a little back and forth on how life's been since I left Bali last month. And then I ended the call by saying, just let me know if you want to talk, Hamza. I've got nothing but, like, you know, love for you. Nothing malicious going on here. I love you. And then we ended the call. Now, with how Hamza initially reached out to me with that text message, which in my opinion was just very gay, I wasn't really inclined to follow up with him. I had assumed that everything was put to bed in that call. We found clarity. Hamza himself at the end of the call saying something along the lines of, oh, actually, Sam, come to think of it, I don't think you did anything nefarious, whatever. Ended the call on a good note. Awesome. I'm happy to put that to bed. I'm glad that we found clarity on that, because I would hate to think Hamza thinks that I'm trying to do anything malicious. We also started to discuss in the call our initial falling out in 2023 and how there's probably a lot more things that we should talk about just to clear the air on both of our perspectives on what happened. But we decided to have that conversation at a different time. Anyway, that was the call, and I didn't speak to Hamza since then, okay? And this is when I wake up in about a week's time to seeing that Hamza has publicly denounced me and my business model on his story. Very interesting mental paradigm shifts happened for me as soon as I saw this. Hamza very brazenly revealed exactly how he feels about me and also how he thinks. I don't like being called a snake or a backstabber. That bothers me greatly. It was very difficult for me to read it and not immediately respond, as you can imagine. Not that I was going to message Hamza, because the moment that I saw he did this, I had absolutely no interest in engaging with Hamza and clearing the air as I had done the week prior. Hamza had already demonstrated that he was uninterested in a conversation before putting me on blast to over 200,000 people. But I had noticed that he had blocked me both on WhatsApp and Discord, leaving me no means to message him even if I wanted to. You might be wondering why Hamza felt the need to post something so malicious and chaotic and wrong publicly. I wonder the same things, and I have my theories. I've had my fair share of genuine betrayals, backstabs, etc., drama over the last year or so. Yet, I've never felt the need to post about it on my public Instagram story and try and create a woe is me narrative around those things. First of all, backstabbing Hamza for a couple $100. Of course, I never backstabbed Hamza for a couple $100. Think about how retarded that is. I remember I was in Bali and one of Hamza's friends said to me in private, Sam, Why don't you leverage your connection, your friendship with Hamza more? You could get a lot more views, you could get a lot more money. Imagine if I had done that and something like this happened. I was best friends with Hamza for about 5 years. I know Hamza better than anybody, and the truth be told, I've been a very healthy level of wary since 2023. To come to the conclusion that I was backstabbing Hamza for a couple $100 from that video, which was a social commentary on the manosphere as a whole, is nothing short of absolute fucking insanity. And the idea of me selling him out for a couple $100 is even more retarded. If I was after money, if I was after a couple $100, I would have listened to what Hamza's Bali yes men told me to do, which is to essentially dick ride him to the moon over the last 2 years of us not working together anymore. I didn't do that. I care far more about impact over money. Specifically, my impact, my messaging, my values, my teachings. I would never sell any of those things out for some extra cash or some extra clout. I certainly would never suppress my own truth and my own opinions, and anyone who knows me knows this to be a fact. Since launching my own personal brand, I've had absolutely no interest in leveraging Hamza and Hamza's brand, or my connection to Hamza. I've been very diligent over the last 2 years to create a safe distance between myself, my brand, and Hamza and his brand. Outside of highlighting the very meaningful and impactful work that we did together on the YouTube channel, taking his YouTube from 500 subscribers all the way to over 1.8 million subscribers before we stopped working together. He tried to convince my own followers that my advice doesn't work and that they should buy his paid program instead. I have not engaged with Hamza's community for over 2 years. Not his Discord, not his school, not his YouTube comments, nothing. I didn't mention Hamza in my video, I didn't talk about his teachings, and I definitely didn't say, don't follow Hamza's advice. I shared my story and my methods for helping young men grow, and that's it. What Hamza meant by my own followers is my audience. No doubt about it, guys. I certainly carried some momentum behind me from my work alongside Hamza when I decided to build my own personal brand, my own YouTube channel, which is naturally going to happen, by the way, if you have been there from the start of building a YouTube channel of a cult-like audience of over 1.8 million subscribers. But Hamza seems content with claiming my audience as his own. I've already pointed out that I have diligently tried to separate my own brand, my own messaging from Hamza and his brand. And if I hadn't done that, you would think that I would probably have a much larger audience. Is there some crossover between our audiences? Of course. Does that mean Hamza gets to claim my audience as his own? Absolutely not. Over the last 5 years of me knowing Hamza, being best friends with Hamza, building his YouTube channel from 500 to 1.8 million subscribers, traveling the world together, guess how many times I asked for a share or a shout out? 0. Now there has been a couple of times where Hamza's shared something which I've made, much like how I've shared things that Hamza's made. But if I had known that by him doing that Hamza would attempt to claim ownership over my entire audience and expected me to suppress my own message in favor of his, would I have accepted this very generous gift? Absolutely fucking not. Of course not. Also, think about it like this. No matter what you choose to do in life, if you become prolific at doing something, if you build communities around those things, if you consistently inject your personality and your flair into mega viral videos,
the same testosterone levels as a healthy 90-year-old man. And
yeah, so ultimately, I just see this fucking transition, gets no pussy in brackets. Yeah, they might send you home, be like, you're fine.
Whilst not taking the shine away from the star of the show, of course. And you do this consistently over a span of 2 years, you're going to gain a healthy level of infamy and reputation and a following for doing that thing. And that's exactly what I did. Over the span of 2 to 3 years, I dedicated my entire life to Hamza and his cause. And because of how successful we were at doing what we did, of course, people got to know me. So that's where our crossover in audience comes from. Not from dick riding, not from glazing, not because I didn't earn it, because naturally, my audience found me through my work, which is what I talk about. And naturally, if they found me through my work, then they also knew Hamza, because that's where my work was displayed most of the time. Does that mean that my audience is Hamza's audience and that I can't speak my truth on my own platform? Absolutely fucking not. Hamza consistently takes way too much credit for what he's done. And that's not what a friend does, and that is not what a leader does. No matter how big of a success story one of my students get, I will never ask any members of my academy to utter the phrase, "Sam changed my life." They did that. I helped them. I guided them through that. That's about as far as it goes. Imagine how low self-esteem you have to dedicate all of your success to a single man and not to either yourself or to God. This is what Hamza consistently asks of his audience, and I suppose he expected the same of me.
If you're a Hamza glazer, your life gets better in basically every single fucking way. He tells the story of his friend who was like a Hamza glazer, loved my videos. He texted his friend saying, "Your life was better when you were a Hamza glazer." And that was like the biggest point. I was like, you know what? When you're a Hamza glazer, even though I get some things wrong, your life improves. That's it. Just objectively, if you follow my advice, your life improves. If you follow me, your life will get better. My results have proven it. Guarantee your life will get worse, and you'll come crawling back to me saying, you know what, Hamza, you were fucking right. I stopped watching you for a while and I completely fell off my self-improvement. Your life is better when you're a Hamza glazer. It's just a 10 out of 10, like absolute fact of the world. As much as like fucking gravity is a law of physics.
Anyway, did I try to turn people away from Hamza's message? No. No, I didn't. Even if you was to adapt the incredibly warped worldview that my video was a sneak diss to Hamza, I didn't even say that self-improvement was a bad thing. I said that it was foundational and it's still important, but if you want a similar journey to me, self-improvement's not enough. Was I convincing Hamza's followers to take my advice instead of his? No, I never said don't take Hamza's advice. I never even mentioned him in my video. Why would I do that? He was my friend. Now, did I even consider Hamza while making my video? No, I didn't. The truth be told, I haven't watched any of Hamza's videos for over 2 years now. I also respectfully muted him on Instagram because he was posting very low vibrational, "Look, this white guy's a cook" fucking reels, which I have zero interest in seeing. So I don't see any of Hamza's content. Really ever. Outside of an occasional video pop-up, I am largely unaware as to what Hamza's messaging is nowadays. And before I went to Bali to see him, on average, we spoke maybe once every 3 months. So Hamza had absolutely zero consideration when I was making my video. And to be honest with you, in hindsight, watching my video back, I don't think me and Hamza disagree. Hamza's flagship product is teaching young men how to create a YouTube channel. That has nothing to do with autistic, gimmicky self-improvement habits and has everything to do with pouring your energy and your masculine essence into something creative that will make you money and will have a positive impact on the world, which is the exact point of my video. The only difference is it's different vehicles. I'm trying to get young men to try video editing, which worked for me. Hamza's trying to get young men to try YouTube, which worked for him. Considering Hamza's success that he's had from YouTube and how that's completely transformed his life, I really don't think we disagree. Was it cold showering and nofap streaks which changed Hamza's life? No, it fucking wasn't. It was making a YouTube channel, building a movement, having a bunch of young men look up to him and respect him, and making a bunch of money traveling the world so he can afford things, he can buy things, he can have a good time, he can look after himself. That's what changed his life. I really don't think me and Hamza even disagree. My theory is that Hamza took my video the way he took it because he has the unhealthy belief that I owe my entire audience to him, and that every decision that I make, business, personal, YouTube, should be grounded in What would Hamza think of this? And this theory isn't grounded upon nothing. It's something that I've kind of felt subconsciously for quite some time through private exchanges. I had a gut feeling that something wasn't right, and I was questioning whether Hamza was actually even on my team or not. I also think that there's a good chance that I just caught a stray bullet because Hamza seems adamant on addressing a bunch of drama on YouTube right now. Is going after dramatards. I remember the very first time Hamza involved himself in internet drama, and it was responding to a video with Sneeko. I completely stayed out of this scenario while his other friend encouraged him. I thought me staying out of that scenario and being repelled by every conversation about it, even though I was usually very on the ball with talking about the business and how we move things forward, would be enough to suggest to Hamza that we shouldn't fucking do internet drama. It's very gay. And in my opinion, the whole Sneeko saga was just a fucking disaster. The reason I say this is because if it's not fucking clear to you, I hate internet drama. I hate having to record this video. I hate how much I've had to process these emotions. I hate having to respond to this publicly. I just think it's so gay. It's so gay. It's insane. All of this could have been resolved over a conversation. So in terms of drama, going forward, please don't ever assume that me staying out of it or staying quiet is anything other than, oh, well, Sam just doesn't fuck with drama, because I don't. I didn't want to make drama in 2023 when me and Hamza fell out. You'll notice that I did not make drama about that. Still haven't. And I did not want to make a drama now. I'm focused on my family, my inner circle, getting my students' results, and my girl, and that's about it. However, I've been slandered publicly. My business model has been misrepresented and slandered publicly. This is why I'm making this video. He sold out a 5-year friendship for a couple $100. No, I did not, Hamza. No, I did not. You did. When you sent me that text, I don't think we can be friends anymore. You had already created a crazy narrative in your head. Sold yourself on the idea that I'm out to get you. You allowed it to get that far before even having a conversation with me. Would you have even had a conversation with me if I didn't say, let's have a call? Probably not. I didn't throw this fucking 5-year friendship away. You did, motherfucker. I don't vouch for the right-hand man role. How could you possibly not vouch for it when it brought you so much success, Hamza? How horrendously ungrateful could you possibly be? How horrendously venomous do you have to be to even dedicate an entire social media post into tearing down what I'm doing, another man? Specifically, my business model, which has not only had an enormous positive impact on you, but it's also had an enormous positive impact on my students, my audience, my members. Hamza mentioned that he fired me after a few weeks of the right-hand role. This isn't true. I officially acquired the title of right-hand man in October 2022 before we went to Dubai. And I had that title until January 2023 when we went our separate directions. But just because I officially earned the title in October 2022 doesn't mean that I wasn't carrying myself like a right-hand man the entire time that we were working together. Hamza's been very adamant on discrediting me behind closed doors and now publicly by labeling me just a video editor, which is fine because video editing is very awesome. But how many video editors spend 1 to 2 hours per day for 2 to 3 years in a call with their clients? How many video editors do you know who builds a Discord server which rewards engagement and interactiveness, which becomes the #1 Discord community on the entire platform, where every single time their client uploads a video, over 200,000 people get an @everyone notification. How many video editors do you know who work diligently creating and maintaining a system which saves editors hours of time per video creating animations, therefore saving their clients thousands upon thousands of pounds per month? How many editors are in charge of the hiring and the firing process, managing the entire team, watching and giving revisions for every single video that goes out, which potentially saves the brand from self-imploding because in 1 of every 10 videos, Hamza would say something so wild that it would potentially destroy the brand, and it goes entirely against the purpose of the movement? How many editors are proactive in solving problems before they come up, strategizing, helping to make massive needle-moving business decisions, talking about the movement, talking about how can we help these guys, what do they need to hear? What can we say? What can we do? All of this and more was done far before I acquired the title of the right-hand man. Long before the reward was even tangible. I started working with Hamza for $10 per video. I did it because I love it. I did it because I believed in Hamza. I did it because I believed in the movement, what we were doing, and I did it all because it made me great at my job. I did it because it was meaningful and it changed lives. And instead of talking to me and gaining further clarity over a call, Hamza took all of the venom in his heart to shit on what means the absolute most to me. Then he created the narrative that I sold him out for a couple $100. Is this masculinity? Is this brotherhood? Is this what a best friend of 5 years does? All because I have differing opinions to him on my videos, and he thinks he owns my audience and he owns how I share my message. What sort of absolute narcissist, what sort of like egomaniac would think like that? Hamza fundamentally misunderstands my business model. My business model is teaching young men how to make money through video editing, and I do this through the right-hand blueprint. That doesn't mean get hired as a right-hand man. That wouldn't work. What I'm saying is enter a business and solve a specific and tangible problem, which in my case is video editing, but carry yourself not as a video editor, but more like a creative partner. Solve problems permanently, think outside the box, go above and beyond in your role, earn more leverage, become undeniably valuable in the business, create more impact, get paid way more money. That's exactly what I did for Hamza. That's exactly what he benefited enormously from. And for him to discredit me and my business model where I teach young men how to do exactly that is a testament to how venomous, malicious, and horrendously childish he is. Screenshot this and send it to someone who needs to hear it before they waste their time becoming a right-hand man. Look how revealing this is. The point of this post isn't to provide any sort of life lesson from the betrayal that he's going through right now, this big backstabbing that he's had. It's not to give any sense of value. It is to simply shit on me. I always had a deep subconscious feeling that Hamza didn't want to see me win beyond the work that I did with him. Hamza wants my success to be tied to him and him alone. This is the final nail in the coffin, which absolutely undeniably confirms that for me. In this story, which did not have to be public, we could have just had a conversation, Hamza spent it attacking my livelihood and my purpose. I had just come from Bali. While in Bali, I was working diligently on my right-hand blueprint. He knew how much I had worked for that. He knew how much it means to me. My work is absolute #1 over everything else. And he took this post and he slandered me. He discredited me through his warped lens of reality, as he often does. The truth be told, this isn't the first time Hamza's done something which I've found to be incredibly malicious. I am truly a believer of what is real will prosper. I also believe the opposite. And it seems like a lot of people are catching up to what Hamza's really about. I could say a lot more in this video, but as I already mentioned, I have such little capacity and interest in drama. It's fucking feminine and gay. My only objective with this video was to defend myself and my business model, which I have been forced to do because the CEO of masculinity decided to make an Instagram story about me. Hamza, if you're watching this video, a final bit of advice from your previous right-hand man and former best friend of 5 years. Don't respond to this video. I will fucking bury you, Hamza. So enjoy your early retirement, get on with what you're doing. I'm going to get on with what I'm doing. You've completely blown it with me, pal. Never before has someone so brazenly revealed to me their true character. That's it for now. I think I might have to change this Instagram pinned post here. Fuck Hamza.